Welcome to Chasing K-Dramas, the podcast that dissects popular Korean dramas episode by episode. We dig into the characters, themes, and everything in between. I'm Chrissy Choi, and I'm here with my co-host,
Dulcé, Sloan. Bra, bra, bra.
Yeah. Okay, so we made it.
We did it.
We did it.
I'm so proud of us.
I know.
This is our second drama that we're going to be chasing. We're running after.
Yes.
I'm so thankful for everyone that is watching, that everyone is listening.
Yes.
I didn't know we would get this far. We had so many viral moments.
We had good moments, and we had, we had okay moments. I'm not gonna say they're bad. They were okay moments.
They're not bad, but
people have very strong feelings. But I think
strong
that's
feelings.
a good thing.
It's strong because strong feelings make strong opinions, which makes comments, which makes engagement. But also, maybe you should watch the end of a clip. Maybe you should take in all the information before you form an opinion. But I can say, we are a headline reading society.
Yes, we are.
So if you if you see what you see and you're like, I have an opinion, it's like, but then just read the article, bro.
Right. But we are really excited just because our second drama is going to be
Marry My Husband. Let me tell you something. Chrissy told me to watch this drama, and I was like, oh, it's on Amazon Prime. I forget that there's like dramas on Amazon.
Yeah. Everyone's getting into it.
Everyone's getting into it. I thought just, Coco Wa was just going to be doing it. And it's like, no, Amazon said, hey, hold my beer, hold my purse, hold my handbag. And this show is, well, I started the rewatch yesterday.
Yeah.
And so, because I watched the whole drama and I was like,
yeah.
And then last night I did the rewatch and my mom was like, what's this? And so she watched a little bit of it, and then I was on the phone just, catching up with some friends. And then I got off the phone and she's like, I said, okay, watch the rest of it. She's like, oh, okay. And then she started watching it and she was like, girl.
I know.
And I can't say the English dubbing is wild on the show.
Of course. I'm sure
because the English dubbing is easier for my mom.
Yeah.
Because the English dubbing doesn't match the English subtitles. So the subtitles match the Korean, but then the English is just the English.
Yeah.
So you'll be reading something and it's just like, oh, I called ahead. And it's like, oh, I made preparations. And you're like, what the hell is happening?
So it's not like a Netflix level. I feel like Netflix is pretty
Netflix
accurate,
is very good.
Right?
Your English is going to match your English.
Yeah.
With this show, your English dubbing doesn't match your subtitles, but it's fine. But because we ended up, we were up to like almost 4 a.m. watching the show. And I was telling her I was going to record the podcast today, and she was like, see, because they try to make the girl look all plain and everything, but she's like, but she's got money, she got a good job, she does her little makeover. She said, and her friend, what's her name, Sumin? She's like, yeah, Sumin. She said, her and her little raggedy boyfriend, they ain't worth nothing. I don't know why she even dealing. She was very annoyed. She was very worked up.
I think this drama elicits a very strong reaction from everyone. So when I watched it, because this came out January 1st, 2024. So before Queen of Tears.
What about a way to start your year?
I know. And when I watched it, Thomas was like, what is this? He was very curious. He's usually not that curious, but he was just like, what's happening? And you're like, yeah. So people loved it.
Yes.
It's based off of a webtoon that was wildly popular. And we can go more into it in our fun fact section. But before we start, we have a couple of announcements that we wanted to kick stuff off with just because it is our second drama chase.
I'm so proud of us for getting to 2 dramas. Honestly, y'all do not understand how much work Chrissy puts into this podcast.
We both put a lot of work into it.
Yes, but I don't put as much work as her. And I have no problem saying that. I'm going to thank you so much, because I was literally having a meeting with my manager and I was like, you see all these social media clips she be making? I said, look at this Dropbox. He was like, ooh. I said, look at this document. I said, look at this. And he was like, oh. And I said, you know me. I wouldn't have done this much work. He said, nah, you wouldn't have done this much work. So, but it's because you have a background in in Spotify and podcasting.
Yes.
So she is the magic behind all of our presence online. And she goes through, that's why sometimes it's like, y'all don't understand what we talk about something. Because one time at Queen of Tears, we watched 2 hours?
Yeah.
Almost 3. And Thomas was like, we don't have enough SD cards for this. Y'all need to be quiet.
He's like, you need to shut up.
I need to shut up. She edits the podcast.
I think the editing part, yes. It's fun. I think the work is fun. For me, at least, I'm doing something because I used to EP at networks, right? On shows that I really, truly cared about for sure. But this for me is like a deep passion project just because I love K-dramas.
Yes.
So I was so, so happy when I randomly reached out to Dulcé to do this with me. She agreed because I honestly think, listen, this is my thing about podcasting. A lot of good podcasters out there, yes, but you need a comic. Like, you need a comedian. Like, it needs to be funny. Like, it really does. So even our last episode with Dumbfounded with Johnny Park, I was actually, when I was editing it, I was watching you too. Like, honestly, for me, I was laughing the entire time. I was like directing, but I was like cackling. Like, there's so much stuff that's so funny. So I feel like, yes, I'm here, I'm putting it all together, but I think there needs to be a good partner who's funny, who gets it, and you would do that. So it's been great. And then also Mr. Thomas.
Shout out to Mr. Thomas for putting up with all of our shenanigans and foolishness. But there's a couple of announcements we want to make because we're very excited.
Yes. So we are 4 months old. So we launched February 5th. We're recording on June 3rd. So we're almost 4 months old. But in that time, we have managed to we have over 8,000 followers on Instagram, which is great. We are close to getting almost 8,000 on TikTok. And then we hit our milestone on YouTube. We are now monetizing. So you're going to see ads on our content.
We've made
just like a big deal.
72 cents. I think people don't understand.
Actually, the official number is we hit $7 this morning.
Look at Jesus, okay? 감사합니다, 예수.
$7, but
y'all think when y'all see ads on these YouTubes that people are making real coins? We can't. This ding tea, we could even buy a ding tea.
This ding tea was $7.50. This one,
right? So with y'all's help, we will be able to cover these ding teas until ding tea. We will be so happy. Because if it wasn't for these ding teas, we wouldn't be able to get through these, because we usually tape like 2 in a day.
Yeah.
So, but we are so excited because we can now monetize on YouTube.
Yes.
And honestly, I cannot wait for the day that we can pay for ding tea and lunch.
I know.
So, pay for the sweet green. Also, sweet green, if you are interested. We
are fueled by Ding Tea,
California Chicken
Cafe down the street,
Chipotle, and Kimbap.
Yes, Kimbap from California Market.
We also want to introduce the other thing we're excited about, our fan club.
Yes, so we're gonna officially launch our fan club, because as you guys know, if you're a K-pop stan,
yes,
everyone has a fan club.
You need a name.
You need a name.
There's the hotties.
Oh yeah, we have. Oh yeah, Megan Stallion has the hotties.
The hotties.
You got BTS Army.
Yes. What's Cardi B's fans called?
I don't think she has one.
Felons. So.
No, I love Cardi B.
Cardi B is amazing. I love Cardi B. But I did have a friend tell me one time that Cardi B makes music for people who wash paper plates.
Cardi B is.
Oh, we need Cardi B.
Cardi B
truly
looks great.
First of all, she looks.
I'm like, Cardi,
ma'am.
She looks fantastic, and thank God she's not with that guy anymore, right? She kicked him. Good.
You know what? And apparently she's got her a new man.
Good.
But and also, did you know her and Glorilla are cousins?
Oh, really? Isn't Glorilla Asian?
No, Glorilla is from Memphis.
Someone is there's a rapper who's Saweetie.
Oh, Saweetie is.
I love how it goes Saweetie.
Yeah, it is Saweetie though.
I know it's Saweetie, but I don't think you pronounce it Saweetie. You just go Sweetie.
But that was very is half Filipino.
Yeah.
And then we just found out that Future is a quarter Korean.
Yes, Future we're claiming.
Future Nim, which is my favorite thing. When that started coming out on TikTok, there was a picture of her like the old school like Korean painting of like the Chosun era, and it's him in like the horsehair hat, and it just says Future Nim across the bottom.
So
now for those, like, explain what Future Nim would mean.
It is like an honorific form of saying like Sir. It's like Sir Future. You know what I mean? Like Nim is like Sir.
But my favorite girl going Future Nim. Future Nim.
We haven't even said her name.
The name was.
Our name, we're the Sarangees. The Sarangees. Derived from Saranghe. So it's the lovies.
Lovies.
Yes. So we're going to be the Chasing K-dramas Sarangees, and more to come on that because I think we're going to do fun things with that.
Listen,
so more to
we're
come.
going to be out on the street asking people, are you a songwriter? And they're going to go, ma'am, please get out of the subway.
And then we're going to have a
live show on
right.
September the 7th. So we're having a live show, and then I'm doing a comedy show after to celebrate. It's my Sweet 16 show.
And where is it going to be?
At the Comedy Store on September the 7th.
In Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles,
yes.
because apparently people think we live in Atlanta.
We're not an Atlanta show. We are an LA show.
She lives in Los Feliz. I live in North Hollywood. Listen.
We're a bunch of LA people.
That lets you know how much Atlanta permeates into a thing.
Well, we would love to do, actually, for our Duluth and Atlanta fans, I would love to do a live show in Atlanta.
I mean, there is a Korean festival that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to do something at the Korean festival here. The Korean festival.
But we should really think about, I would love it.
Well, Mr. Thomas suggested that we do a live taping in a beauty supply store. Which would be the perfect location.
Oh, man.
For a Black and Korean. Listen, Black people and Korean people have been meeting in beauty supply stores in Atlanta for generations.
We are going to aim to have more live shows, but this is the experiment. So September 7th.
September
Very
7th
exciting.
at the Comedy Store. And so you can get a ticket to the taping.
Yeah.
It's going to be early on the Sunday. And then the later show is going to be the comedy show. And I'm going to try to get, because it's celebrating 16 years.
Yeah, of your comedy debut.
Of me doing stand-up.
That's very exciting.
So the first time I ever did stand-up was May 12th. Like my graduation show for my comedy class.
Yeah.
It was May 12th of 2009. But yeah, so we're excited. We're going to have like some fun, we're looking for fun merch ideas.
Yes. We're going to have more news on that.
More news on that. But in today's drama chase,
oh gosh,
we're diving into episode 1 of Marry My Husband. And y'all, it's a wild ride from the jump. So the episode is titled, What Goes Around Comes Around. And the key moments are Jiwon's heartbreaking cancer diagnosis, learning about her miserable life leading up to it, because this girl was going through everything plus 4. The crazy moment when she discovers the affair between her husband and her best friend, her only friend.
her like literally the only person in her life.
Other than her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And her husband. And her dying So how she dies and her waking up in 2013. So she goes back in time and her plotting her revenge. So I'm going to tell y'all something. Listen, y'all ain't, in the words of the song Looking for Nikki, y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready.
We're not ready. So I would say this. So this is based off of a popular webtoon by the same name, right? 내 남편과 결혼해줘. That's what the Korean word.
How do you say husband in Korean?
남편.
남편?
내 남편과 결혼해줘. That means marry my husband, literally.
Got it.
So with that being said, I feel like this drama is comic-like. There's craziness, silliness, all of that. Everything is like hyper exaggerated.
What was it, makjang?
Very makjang. Makjang with like and then the element of it, the comedic it's not comedic. It's literally like a comic book. So you're like, comic books in Korean is called manhwa. So it's like a manhwa like a comic book.
Okay.
So I feel like everything is slightly more exaggerated, slightly more elevated, and just very like the characters are so overly dramatic.
But the acting is good.
Acting is great because these are all veteran people that they got.
But I can say that if you're going to have that heightened type of character work,
yeah,
and you're going to have that heightened writing, and it's already kind of ridiculous, then it needs to be. The acting needs to be realistic, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because because the dialogue is nuts, the action is nuts.
Yeah.
So the characters have to feel very grounded.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as nuts as everything is, you're like, oh, this all makes sense.
This all makes sense. Yeah. And then I feel like the themes of the show, we're kind of jumping ahead, but the themes itself is grounded too. Because they are talking a lot about, like, I would say this. I feel like I can relate more to this drama than Queen of Tears.
Absolutely.
Right?
We've all had a trash ass best friend. We've all had a trash ass significant other. We've all been in situations where you're like, how the hell did I get here? And I wish I could go back in time.
Yes.
And change decisions that I made.
Yep.
Or be able to look at something with another lens, because they always like, well, hindsight's 2020. I'm like, well, I don't even know what the fuck that phrase means. But if you were able to go, like, there's so many things that I could wish I could, like, most of my 20s.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, I wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
80% of these, like, especially when it came to like boys. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I think this is a hyper feminist story as well.
Yes.
Because you're talking about a woman who, I think at the core, she is a strong person, but she never felt, or she never had she never felt that she could be strong, right? Because she was always downtrodden in her life.
Yes.
But her going back or starting over, she has the confidence. And every female character other than the villains, right? Everyone she encounters, like people at her work, like I think it's a hyper feminist story. So I just really like it. Just rewatching it, I'm just like, oh God, like, you know, I can see, because they're both writers, the comic book writer and the screenplay writer are women. We open the scene.
Yes.
We are in present time. Okay. And we see Jiwon, our lead character, Kang Jiwon. She is clearly very ill. She's at a hospital.
In a full hospital gown, got the knit hat on, glasses.
She's peering outside, and these cherry blossoms are falling. We love cherry blossoms in Korean dramas, by the way.
Love a cherry blossom.
So the cherry blossom, a blossom comes in, right?
A little petal.
A little petal falls. And then her best friend, Sumin, comes over, closes the door, and she's like, you know, the draft's coming in. It's too cold for you. We should shut the door, right?
So she shuts the window. But it's what's so interesting is just, this isn't even 5 minutes into it. And it's this hopeful, wonderful, wistful thing.
Yeah.
And it's just about to land in her hand. And then Sumin closes the window. And she's like, it's too cold for you. And you're just like, oh. It feels very symbolism.
Yes.
And it's we're not even 3 minutes into it.
Right.
And it's like, oh, we don't like her.
Yes. Or it's more like, it's kind of, I don't know if I
Not we don't like her. It
but
gives you,
you're just kind of like, what is this?
It gives you something. You're like, well, hold on.
Right.
And it makes you, and then when she's like sitting down, it's just like, but she sits down so teary-eyed. And she's just like, we've got to take good care of you. And, you know, you can't leave me. And you can't die. If you die, I'll die. You can't die. We'll both die together. When I cry, you cry. We cry together. So Jiwon tells Sumin that she suspects her husband's cheating on her. Yeah. She doesn't have any proof, but he gets like this text. She gets a text that says, I love you and I miss you. And then he unsends it. Yep. And she's like, oh, he was meaning to send someone else.
Yeah. And then Sumi is like, oh, do you want me to talk to Minhwan, her boyfriend? She's like, he's not a guy to do something like that. Why don't I go talk to him? And Jiwon's like,
my best friend wants to go talk to my husband about him cheating on me.
So Jiwon's like, don't worry about it. You know, at least thank God I have you. And then they call each other panchok, my other half.
Oh, la media de la, I think it's in Spanish. They refer to it as like la media de la naranja. It's like an old term, like saying my other half, but you're literally saying the half of my orange.
Oh,
it's the
cute.
only time I ever
That's cute.
would really hear it. But there's a moment where she was like, she doesn't have husband luck, but she has her best friend luck. And there was a moment where she looks down and she sees these red pumps.
Yes, she's looking at her shoes. Ugh, yes, so Sumin wears these very high red patent pumps.
What is patent leather? Is it the shiny leather?
Yes, patent leather is the shiny leather. What is patent?
Well, like my thing was like, well, who patented this? Like, why is this patent? Did someone go to an office and get
the patent for the patent?
The patent for the patent? Yes.
So
I have questions.
So Jiwon goes and she's getting another round of chemotherapy. So she's sitting there. And then we have a flashback of her thinking about her life as it's been. And she's basically, you know, lamenting, saying, I don't know why. Like, I had a rough life. I don't know why I want to live it, but I do.
Right, because she's laying in bed getting
chemotherapy. And then we find out that we go back to her wedding. And it seems pretty pleasant. You know, she tosses the bouquet. Sumin catches it.
Perfect.
And her mother-in-law.
Which was crazy.
The mother-in-law comes in and she's like, my sweet child, you look great. And then we pan over to Jiwon's side of like the bride's side of the aisle, and her parents, the chairs for her parents are missing because her parents are both dead. So her mother-in-law's like, I'll take care of you. I'm going to teach you how to be like a good wife because you weren't raised. Basically, she's insinuating that she wasn't raised properly because she doesn't have her parents, which is just like
which
wild,
is crazy,
right?
She's already an adult.
Exactly. And then we kind of go and we see, fast forward, that the mother-in-law is your typical, stereotypical, insane Korean mother-in-law. Like, she's crazy.
Yeah, she's yelling at her for, you know, because they haven't had a kid. And she was just like, you know, how dare you? She's saying that she's the one that's infertile. She calls her a nobody. She's just like a servant. And she's like, well, Minhwan is the only son in the generation of Parks. How dare you cut the family line?
Yeah.
And what I always think is interesting is when we talk about infertility, we always assume it's the woman.
Of course.
Because the proof is she's not pregnant.
Yeah.
Right? And so did you watch Bling Empire?
I watched bits of it. It was too much for me.
It was the most scripted, unscripted show I've ever seen in my entire life. It was insane. But that lady Christina or whatever, whose husband was like, was in the descendants of like, you know, the kings of, you know.
Sure,
whatever. She talks about her being berated by her in-laws.
Yeah.
And her husband was the one with the fertility issues. And she's like, I just took it.
Yeah.
And they were, because her husband's a doctor. And they would go to the doctor all the time and try to get treatments. And they both knew he was the one with the issue. And it was her mother-in-law that was berating her. And she was like, she's like, I just took it, until they had their son. And I was just like, it's a crazy thing whenever we talk about infertility. It's like, well, she can't get pregnant. Like, someone has to get her pregnant.
And then the worst part is that she basically tells her, she's like, you were a nobody, but I accepted you. How dare you not give us a child? And she just basically is treated like a second-class citizen in her own home. And then we soon find out that Minhwan is literally that, again, stereotypical Korean guy, mama's boy, right? He is worthless. He quits his job
to do the stock market.
He's going to be a day trader because he had some like one good investment. And he treats her basically like a slave. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to work from home, day trading. You go make money. But then she comes home. Her home is
filthy.
He doesn't do anything. He's literally, all he does is play video games, and he's screaming at her
because the washing machine is beeping, and she's just like, you can't get the clothes out the washing machine. And he was just like, I just sat down. And then I'm like, you've been sitting down all day. You've been day trading. You're doing nothing. So he's just like, how dare you yell at me? And I feel like this is a thing now where I can't remember the quote that I saw, where it's just like, these men, like, they want, like, it's like just this generation of men. It's like, okay, well, yeah, women will work, but now they have to take care of us. And it's just like, you just want a mother you can sleep with.
It's crazy.
Because y'all didn't want us to work to control us.
Yeah.
And now that we do work.
Yeah.
It's, well, then you need to be taking care of me. When you wanted me to emotionally and physically take care of you, but not financially. Now, because I saw this other dude on Instagram say, it's like, if you're splitting bills with your girl, you can't talk to her crazy. You can't yell at a bitch who you need to keep the lights on.
So I think for this, what makes this situation so strange is that traditionally in Korean culture, right? Very traditional Korean culture. When you get married, the woman stops working.
Yes.
And she takes care of the home. She is a homemaker.
Yes.
But the husband continues working.
Right.
So this is just insane to me. Again, it's a comic book, but it's crazy that this man is not working, but he expects Jiwon to go make money and do all the housework, and the mother-in-law expects it too. And like the mother-in-law is there. Did you notice? Like they're she's like, they're like cutting fruit for him.
One day I was just like, does she live here too? Are they at their house? Like, I truly don't understand. But like, he quits his job and he has zero concern. Also, when she gets diagnosed with cancer,
right,
he runs over to the mother, and the mother was like, well, they have such great technology now.
Oh, it is.
And, it'll be fine. She'll still be able to work. And they tell her, don't think that you can quit working just because you have cancer. And I'm just like, girl, leave.
Hyper exaggerated.
But at least but I was like, if it was me, I'd be like, if Sumin's supposed to be my best friend and I just got diagnosed with cancer and this shit is happening, I would have at least left and gone to my best friend's house.
Yeah.
There's at least that thing where I'm just like, I'm not finna, because she's just sitting there like quietly crying and they're like, and you can't get upset about this. And it's like, she can definitely get upset about that.
Well, you kind of learn too. So at work, right, she has a manager, right? Her boss is berating her and screaming at her. And basically
Not to mention her and Minhwan work at the same job.
Oh,
and
yes.
so does Sumin.
All
of them work at UNK.
Right. At UNK. So basically, and we can go more into it later in the episode, but Jiwon is the assistant manager. Minhwan is also, I think he's like an assistant manager level. I think he's at the same level as her. But Sumin is an intern. She's a brand new employee. So she's getting berated. Her nose starts bleeding all over. It was like the most dramatic. It was so bloody. I was like, Jesus Christ.
On her cream
shirt, all over her documents, everything. Her boss is screaming at her and she runs out. And then she learns that she has cancer. She has cancer. Then we talked about it. The Minhwan and his the mother-in-law,
could care less.
They literally could care less. He's worried about who's going to cook for me. That's what he's worried about.
And she's like, I'll still cook for you. And my poor son, he has bad luck. This is why you can't bring anybody in. And it's like literally modern medicine allows sick people to work. Which, when you think about it as a society, that shouldn't even be. If I'm fighting cancer,
I know.
Why are we
working? Exactly.
Why are you expecting me to work?
Right. So now we jump back into the current time and we find out that Jiwon's hospital bills have not been paid. So this husband of hers, useless. He has not paid the bills. So she's calling and texting him, right?
Mind you, she just came out of chemo. She's walking back to her bed. And the nurse who's walking with someone else is like, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
you'll be fine.
The patient's wife, yes.
It's like the patient's wife is like, you know, you're only supposed to have this amount of time. You'll be fine. It's okay.
And so she's texting and calling Minhwan and he's not picking up. So she decides, this poor woman with chemo, stage 4 cancer, she puts her clothes on.
No, she ain't got no clothes.
She puts her sweater on.
She puts her sweater on over her hospital pajamas.
She walks out and she's about to keel over. She literally looks like a skeleton. She's about to keel over, right? And then a magic taxi shows up. I say magic just because it feels like a little bit magical. You can kind of tell. Comes out of nowhere. There's cherry blossoms everywhere.
And then like this little thing like,
yes.
There's a little music where it's like,
yes. And then she gets in and she tells the cabbie, because the cabbie's like super happy. He's like, oh, a little bit too happy. You know, like if I'm seeing a patient who clearly looks like a skeleton is about to die soon, like I wouldn't say much, but he was just like, oh, like he's cheery. And he's like, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'm going to die. Literally, my doctor said I'm going to die.
I'm going to die.
I have no hope. And she's like, no, you'll be fine. You'll figure it out. And you're like, what the f-? He's like, we'll just take another route or something.
Because she's like, I don't live this way. And he goes this beautiful, magical route. This is when I was like, when I watched this the first time, I was like, wait a minute.
What is happening?
Because when they went through that tunnel, I was like,
feels a little off. Yeah.
And then you come into this magical, like there's even more cherry blossoms.
Yes.
And it's literally snowing, cherry blossom petals everywhere. And I was like, okay, well, this has to be
something. This has to be something.
Because this feels very transitional.
Yes.
And also there's like this bit of like fog and haze when she goes through and it comes out.
It's almost like a hay and cloud moment.
Yes, that's what I just had a picture in my mind. I'm just like, listen to wild boar comes out.
Cherry blossom moment.
Yes, it's a cherry blossom fog moment. There's not a single wild boar. And
not yet.
And there's just Ajushi just driving, and they pulled up to the house.
They pull up to the house and she pays him. She gives him a $10 bill.
And she's like, and he's like, don't worry about it. She's like, I'm going to pay you. He's like, don't pay me. He's like, I'm going to pay you.
And then he gives it back to her and he's like, just think of it as an allowance from your dad. And she was like, what?
Because he's trying to talk to her. He's like, take the money back. She's like, no, take the money back. She's like, no. And he goes, You're hurting an old man's arm. Take the money back. It's my allowance from your dad. And she's like, oh, yeah. She kind of snaps out of it. So the taxi leaves. She collapses up the stairs.
She's so weak. She collapses.
She just had chemo maybe an hour ago.
It's not funny, but it's like ridiculous.
It's insane.
So she's going up the steps, and of course she's in a walk-up. She doesn't have an elevator.
And I don't know why there's no elevator. I was like, I thought this was a modern society. So, but she's collapsing on the stairs. She's breathing heavy. She finally gets to the door, and she remembers. So the door was broken before she went into chemo.
Before she even knew she was sick.
Before she even knew the sick. The door's been broken for years,
like
apparently.
6 months.
At least. And so...
Useless
because you watch on, when you watch on Korean dramas, they lift the little panel up and it's supposed to go, it doesn't light up or nothing. And so she's like, can you fix it? And he gets mad at her. And so now she's at the house and she lifts it up and he still hasn't
The door is
fixed
just
it.
open. I'm surprised they haven't
Been
gotten robbed. Yes.
By a man in all black wearing a mask.
Yes.
Because that's
Usually that's what happens.
That's the only people who do crime in
come
Korea.
And steal a knife.
Come and steal a knife. Or just general crimes in Korea. There's a bad guy. He's wearing this. And so she walks into the house just trying to figure out what's going on. And she looks down and she sees the red pumps. And so these are Sumin's shoes. And she already...
She knows.
She knows.
She walks in and she's hearing them in bed. They're both in bed. Right. And basically,
so ugly.
Minhwan took out an insurance policy.
As soon as he found out she was sick.
Because he was like, oh, her dad died of cancer. When she started losing weight, I figured this would be the right moment. I should do it. That's why I took out the insurance policy. And then Sumin's like, oh, babe, like that's such a good idea. You're so smart. You're so clever. And they're like laughing about it. And he's like, I need her to die. Why hasn't she died yet?
And then Sumin jokes for maybe I can just take her over a cliff and then just kind of push
her over.
And he's like, well, she's so weak that she'll probably just fall. And then he goes, oh, don't do that. I might lose you too.
Yes. And then he's like, yeah. And then once I get that insurance money, I already bought you that designer purse. A little Chanel bag, I'll get you more. So this fucking asshole,
yes,
instead of paying for his wife's chemotherapy treatments, hospital bills, is out here buying this hoe a fucking Chanel bag.
Honestly, you know what I feel like? She's a hussy.
She's a fucking hussy. She is, honestly.
We need to bring hussy back.
She's a straight up hussy. That's going to be our nickname for her.
Hussy.
We had Psycho Ajashi. This is Psycho. She is.
So this is hussy best friend.
Hussy best friend.
Hussy best friend. Trash ass husband.
Trash ass husband. Trash ass husband. And then
trash ass husband. Hussy best friend. For those of you watching at home, we have now given the nicknames because I don't know if you know, but like women love to give a nickname. For instance,
actually we just call him trash ass. Trash ass.
Trash ass.
Minhwan is trash ass and hussy. Yes.
So we got the hussy and the trash ass. La basura. So she hears them in bed plotting.
They're plotting. And then she sees a photo of her and her dad. And it's covered in like
gochujang.
Gochujang is red stuff. It's gochujang.
I'm like,
what did you
do? Lines of kimchi off of this picture? Why is this covered in food? I was like, was he snorting kimchi?
Snorted kimchi. And she is enraged.
Oh, bro, that's my dad?
She runs in. God. And she screams at them.
Screams him. She's like, because she picks it up. She's screaming, you asshole. She starts throwing stuff. She's like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
Yep.
And so she's throwing shit. And they hop up out the bed. And he's a middling because he hopped up out the bed, but they didn't turn their swag on. And so, I'm sorry, my comedy brain. I had to. I'm so sorry. All I heard. And so, thank you, Mr. Thomas. And so she's throwing shit and trash ass looking at Hussy and being like, are you okay?
Are you okay?
Are you okay? Yeah. Babe, are you okay? And she's just hiding. And he gets so mad that he raises his hand up to her, walks them out past her because he raises his hand up like he's going to hit her.
Yeah. And I think he has hit her.
I feel like he's hit her before.
He's been hitting her. So he's about to do it. Hussy stops him. And then they go to the living room.
Well, wait. Hussy stops him, and then he's like, "You're right." And then he leans over and go, "What are you going to actually do?" Which is the ugliest thing, because she realizes in that moment, it's like, she really can't do.
She can't do anything. What's she gonna do?
Like,
She's
it's because adultery is no longer illegal.
It is it's no longer. Oh, and she was yelling at them. She's like, "I'm gonna sue you guys. This is insurance fraud. It's insurance fraud. I'm gonna get y'all." And he's like, "What do you mean? You're about to fucking die, and you're like 50 pounds. What the fuck are you gonna do?" Anyways,
and so they get into the living room, and you see this jar of like candy.
So that is an OG Korean candy. I'm gonna pick that up next time I go to a Korean market.
The little, like,
my grandma used to have that.
Is this the?
It is the equivalent of those.
The words of the original.
I would say the equivalent of those like tins of the butter cookies that everyone used to have, the shortbread cookies back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that blue, like not blue tin. It was like the
blue
brownish tin.
Okay, I don't know the brownish, but I knew the blue can of the Danish cookies.
Maybe that's it. So my grandma had the tin of cookies, and she had the Korean candy.
So here's the thing: when I tell you I was a grown up, I'm talking about in my probably late 20s before I actually saw cookies in that tin.
Oh, I've never, because we put our sewing. It was my grandma's sewing kit.
Everybody put the sewing stuff in there. I'm telling you, I was working.
It doesn't matter if Korean, Black,
Latino,
white.
everybody. Do you just buy this tin, dump the cookies out?
Yeah.
And then just I think it was like a joke on Family Guy or something. Somebody was like, "What, cookies?" and dumped them out and then put sewing shit in it.
I really want to understand like the history behind that, because it is true. My grandma had it. Everyone had that.
It's an American tradition. I think as soon as you get to this country, they're like, "Listen, you put your sewing stuff in this cookie tin, and you hate black people." That's the first. As soon as you
listen,
American
I just
soil.
Googled it. I literally Googled cookie tin, and then sewing kit comes up. Yes, it's the blue one. You're right.
Yes.
It's the blue one. The Royal Dansk.
Yes. I did not know until I was a full fucking adult that their cookies actually came in it.
We had that blue tin, and then we had the blue candy tin for the Korean candies.
I'm interested to try these.
We will bring it. It's actually really good. They're like little balls, and if you notice, Minhwan when he's like choking on it because they're sitting there, that made me laugh. Also, I wanted to say, Sumin, in their love scene where they're making out of nowhere, she takes her clothes off and she's in a negligee, and I'm just like, okay.
You know what that actually is?
I think it's like an under situation. A slip. Who wears slips these days?
Girl, they used to. Oh my God, the way they used to make. Who remembers slips? I don't even think they make them anymore.
That's what I'm saying. So
because
I guess it was a slip.
You had to wear them.
So I'm just like, why is she wearing a negligee? And I'm like, oh, it's a slip. You're right.
There's probably people watching this going, what the is a slip? Yeah. I cannot wait for y'all to Google what a slip was. It was literally like, I don't know if clothes used to be rough. I don't know if it was to stop like static, but I remember having to wear a slip, especially under a skirt.
Yes.
I don't know if it was
it slims you down though.
But it's not
like a what is it, a girdle or anything, but it does give you a little bit of like I think a shape.
I think the other thing that it did was like it stopped the clothes from almost fitting too close
or
to
like
you.
staticking, like sticking.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It was like a layer of it's like, we're gonna create this line, and I don't know if we use different fabrics now. I also probably think it was probably to help with like sweat too. Like to keep sweat off your clothes, because a slip was not made of a natural material. I don't know what the it was.
Well, homegirl had I guess it's hogo. That's what in Korean that's what they call it. But she's making out with this man in that thing, and I was like, what's happening?
So they've come out into the living room. She's literally falling over because she falls down because she throws the tin of candies at him. It hits him in the back, and he's like and she falls down, and he's about to hit her again, and Sumin stops him.
And then
she's on the floor. She's going through it. And Sumin leans and kneels down to her. And you're like, okay, this is an interesting moment. And she looks her dead in the face and goes, let the living live. You're about to die, but you're only thinking about yourself.
Right. She says, I'm sorry, 미안해. And then she says the line, you're selfish.
Wild. You were just smiling in my face an hour ago before I got chemo.
You're going to die anyway.
Do you want me to talk to him?
Bitch.
You know you the one that's gonna bust it wide open in the next fucking hour while you were riding around in your convertible. And then you're like, do you want me to talk to you? Because what was like, because I feel like if she had been like, yeah, she could have been laying in the bed and being like, oh yeah, she told me to talk to you. That would have been even more ugly though. But
then Jiwon is so upset, starts hitting her, starts pulling her hair. I would have done more. I would have done more.
So what I loved was like, she goes to get up and she grabs the chain on that designer bag and she yanks her back.
And then she yanks her hair.
And so
she very Korean thing to do, by the way.
Oh, she pulls her down 3 times by that bag.
She's beating
and then she eventually gets up. So she pulls her down 3 times with all the strength she has in her body.
Yes.
And she pulls her down to the ground 3 times by the bag, which I thought was very interesting because this is the bag that he bought her. Ugh. This is the bag they bought the missions, and so she's yanking.
The bag comes back a lot.
The bag comes back a lot. Yanks her down, and then she's grabbing her by the hair, and she is lighting her ass up. I'm talking about Christmas tree, Rockefeller Center, lighting her up, just knocking her upside her head.
Knocking her upside, and then Minhwan comes over, and he's like, "Let her go. You're gonna die." Mm-hmm. And then what does he do?
He pushes her, and she pushes her. And then she falls in slow-mo and lands in a glass table. And if you are a child if you're anyone who watched TV in the 90s, a glass table.
We have a glass table.
or a set of stairs was killing somebody.
Somebody.
A glass table, end of your life. End of your fucking life. Falling into a glass table, the number of TV shows where someone has hit their head on the edge of a coffee table. And that's what I remember as a kid going, people are too fragile. I mean, if rooms to go furniture off the corner of the side, just the IKEA, like just hitting that temple, right? Or that medulla oblongata in the back. Ugh. She falls through a glass. She hits her head in the glass table. It completely shatters.
Her glasses fall.
Because listen, when someone's wearing glasses,
it has to get knocked off.
They have to get knocked off.
It has to get knocked off.
You cannot die with these glasses on.
No, the glasses land, and she wakes up in a pool of blood
coming from her head, and she blinks twice,
and she realizes, and there's a voiceover. She's like,
"That's what I did.
This is it. This is it for me.
This is it."
And those fucking assholes are in the corner being like, meanwhile, trash ass goes, "Oh, we can just say that she fell. She was so weak anyway. She just probably fell." And he's like, "Oh, I hope this doesn't fuck up the insurance money."
Girl, I would have been up.
I know. I would have been like, you know what? You're not ready to die yet.
I would have wiped my hand through my own blood. There's no way. I would have left so much evidence in the apartment. But when they do the pan out and they see her hand, I was like, if her finger didn't twitch, because it's a finger twitch or something, lets you know somebody died. So mind you, this is maybe 10 minutes into the show.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I think this is probably one of the most iconic K-drama openings.
Absolutely.
Like, it ends, obviously, like, you're going backwards in time, but it ends with this. I was like, what the f***? When you're first watching this.
10 minutes in.
You're like, yes, let's go.
What I have to watch
is happening?
I have to watch this.
So my question for us is, what would you do? What would you do if you're a Jiwon?
I'm haunting everybody. I'm haunting 2 places. I'm going to be busy because I'm haunting 2 places. Or I would just haunt. I wouldn't be at my job for eternity. But if this is me, because if I'm laying on the floor bleeding, honestly, if I was her, I would be glad to just be in heaven, hanging out with Jesus, drinking Hennessy with Tupac. I'm done.
So if I ever found out that my boyfriend and my best friend were having an affair.
I'm sorry, your husband?
Yes, my husband.
My trash ass husband.
And my best friend. I'm a pretty calm person. I would do something dramatic. Like, honestly, I'm that petty, but I would announce it to the world.
Well, see, for me, I'd be
shaking.
I wouldn't have confronted them.
Why not?
Because I would have reported the insurance fraud. and then sent them to jail.
I guess more my question is less about this. What would you happen if this happened to you in real life? What if, like, minus the whole like insurance for all of that, what if you're dating someone and your boyfriend and your best friend really do have an affair?
I'm saying nothing. I'm leaving.
I would leave. I would leave and I would like throw a fit. I think I would lose it.
I would diss a fucking peer.
I would lose it.
Here's what I realized. Here's the thing I learned. Being quiet is scarier than throwing a fit.
That's true. That's true. I like that.
I don't think that enough people realize how scary silence is.
Okay. Yes.
So I would just, because if it was me, I'd pop my head in and go,
알았어.
And then let you wonder what the fuck I'm going to do.
Or you can just be silent. And then what's that Jasmine Sullivan song?
Bust the windows out the car.
Bust the windows out the car.
Let me tell you something. All that Jasmine Sullivan, Carrie Underwood shit, it's all it's going to do is get you in trouble. And that's not the point. What you want to, I'm in pain. You need to be in panic. But now, bro, I'm deleting you. If you have a PlayStation, I am wiping I'm not breaking it.
You're just to wipe all the game
I'm
history.
wiping everything off that bitch. I'm finding the biggest fucking magnet. I'm clearing that bitch out. Why sell it when you can send a man back to zero? So you ain't got to go Jasmine Sullivan and Carrie Underwood, baby. You got to go SVU. You got to go CSI. You understand? Okay. You got to fuck up his algorithm by watching a bunch of Korean dramas in his Netflix. Okay. And now he can't figure out what happened to sports.
Just delete it all. Okay. Because this is our first episode, I'm going to talk about our Marry My Husband trivia.
Ooh.
Because there's a lot of fun stuff, right? There's not as much that I found compared to Queen of Tears, because I feel like Queen of Tears, a lot of stuff was written about them. But so I think I said this already, but it's based on a very popular webtoon, right, by the same title. And it was written by a woman who is a romance novelist. Her name is Sung So-jak. Okay, so she's the...
You're talking about Fabio in the front of the book, romance novelist?
Yeah, she's a romance novelist. Oh. And then it won an award in 2019 for Romance Excellence Award for the Reb Novel Contest that Naver did. So Naver's kind of like the Google of Korea.
Okay.
The fans were really excited for this drama adaptation. Everyone was like dying for it. The drama did very well in Korea and internationally, but people were really upset starting episode 11 and 12 because that's when the drama starts deviating from the webtoon.
Okay, so when we get to 11 and 12, that might be a little trivia of how it's different from the webtoon.
Exactly. So I'm reading the webtoon right now, so we'll figure that out.
Oh, you're reading the webtoon?
I'm reading it. You can. It's on Wattpad. When this aired, it was the highest rated TVN Monday Tuesday drama of all time.
I love these Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
Tuesday,
4 a.m.
And then when it came out on Amazon, right, it was ranked number 2 on Amazon Prime for the first half of 2024.
Listen.
And yes, Park Min-young and Na-in-woo, the two leads, were very popular, but the people who really blew up for this was Trash Ass and Hussy, the actors who played them. They absolutely blew up. So Park Min-hwan, the guy, Lee Yi-kyung, who plays Minhwan, Trash Ass, he got a Paeksang nomination.
Really?
Yeah. So like his role was super, and we'll go more into we'll do our individual fun facts of the actors later.
Well, I can say I started watching that Secret Royal Agent show.
He's in it, right?
He's playing a servant. And I was like, oh, this is interesting to see him.
He's a very good comedic actor. Like,
okay,
he's
I can see he's very good. He's got a face on him. I'm like, oh, he's goofy.
Oh, he's so funny. So these are other fun facts. Our lead gal, Park Min-young, she lost 81 pounds to play this role.
81? Where did she get
That's 80? Why I was like sitting there and I was like, are we sure? They said 37 kilograms. She wanted it to be accurate. She wanted to look like a cancer patient. But she does not recommend what she did to anyone. And I'm like, homegirl.
Good. You know what? Thank you.
She's already thin. She's already real fucking thin.
But my mother was like a bunch of double zeros on this show.
Oh, I mean, she's not even she's like a 000. Like, it was actually like, it kind of scared me. So when I saw the promos for this, so there was articles about her losing weight for this role before it aired. And I was like, what is happening, right? And then we have a real life couple. So the woman who plays Churan, so the assistant manager, right? The lady who teams up with Jiwon. Mm-hmm. She marries the husband. You know, her husband shows up later in the episodes. He's kind of an asshole too. Those two actors married in real life.
Oh,
is that
they
great?
married during the show, or they were married beforehand?
After the show.
They met on the show.
And then our gal, the hussy girl.
Girl.
We're going to talk about her more, but Song Ha-yoon, you know, she had the bullying scandal. We'll go more into that. But she also, to get ready for this role, she deleted all of her Instagram posts so she could be true to the character.
What the hell does that have to do with anything?
I know, she's psycho.
That sounds made up. Why would you need to? If anything, she would post more stuff for as vain and crazy as Sumin is.
I know.
Why would she delete? Okay, girl.
She's sus. Okay. All the main actresses, though, they were all born in 1986. They're my age. Year of the Tiger. So they're 39. All the men were younger, though, which is interesting. And then this show did so well. So when dramas do well, the network send them on a trip, like a congratulatory trip.
That's so cute.
Yeah. So they all went to Vietnam, which was nice. And Nainu, so sexy manager, he was supposed to go to the military, but they exempted him for those couple days so he can go on the trip, which was kind of sweet.
Cute.
Yeah. And then Pang Min-young, our lead, she was at KCON last year. She was like the actress representative.
Love it.
I know. So those are the fun facts. So our Jiwon dies.
She does.
But then she wakes up, or she doesn't even wake up. She just finds herself.
She blinks dead and then she blinks open. And now it is because the thing goes on the screen, April 12th, 2023
is when she dies, when she gets the chemotherapy. And then she, in a blink of an eye, she is in her office.
Yep.
And Minhwan, trash ass, is like, babe, are you okay? What's wrong?
And she flips it. He comes up to her, puts his hand around her waist, and she starts screaming,
hitting,
throwing shit.
It's great.
And me and my mom were watching it. She was like, well, where was all of this? And I was like, she was throwing shit.
She was
when she
chasing
saw
after him. Everyone in the office is staring. She
grabs him by the back of his head,
pulls him down.
And you see his hand going into the Arthur fist.
The Arthur fist. Yes. Yes. Save PBS.
Save PBS. The Arthur fist.
Yes.
And then who comes? So this is the one of many times that he saves this woman. I mean, in this office.
It's a lot.
So what do we call him? Oppa, heartthrob, Ajushi. What's his?
It's 부장님, sexy 부장님.
Because what's his name on the show?
His name is Jihyuk.
Jihyuk?
But then they call him 부장님. She calls him 부장님, general manager. That's the official title. 부장님. So we call him sexy 부장님.
So sexy 부장님. Okay, so we got trash ass,
hussy,
sexy 부장님. I love it.
So sexy 부장님.
So it's like Mr. Manager.
Mr. Manager. Yes,
love
Mr. Manager.
부장님.
So he comes over and he's like, snap out of it. He's like, we are in public. What is going on?
But remember, Minhwan wants to hit her. He grabs him, tosses him, and then grabs her and was like, hey,
like,
ma'am,
we are in public.
And she just stumbles and collapses.
She collapses. She goes into a room and she falls backwards. She is completely disoriented.
Yes.
And then as she falls, this is very like scary for me.
A boiling kettle
is
about to land on her face. Honestly, but I can't tell you, the first time I went to the UK and saw an electric kettle.
Yeah, we have one there.
I was like, why the fuck?
That's what burned me. Remember?
Yes.
When I first started, that's what burned me. It's fine now.
Look.
I took so good care of it. Yeah.
This tea kettle, which is boiling. It's like see-through because I have one of those clear kettles. Horrifying.
Stressed me out.
And as it's about to, and she's just laying there. She ain't trying to roll over. She's not trying to play fetch. She ain't doing shit. She's just letting it happen to her. And his arm.
Oh, sexy. Yes.
Comes out of nowhere And I remember my mom watching this going, this is the biggest Korean man I've ever seen.
He's a tall man.
He's a whole 30-something-year-old man. All of him. And it knocks his out of the way and he hurts his hand. Mm-hmm. But when she runs off the first time, she looks down at her arm and she knows there's a scar that's usually there that's not there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he knocks this kettle out of the way and hurts his arm.
He hurts his arm.
And so this is the second time he saved her.
Yes. And then she gets up. She runs out. Everyone's like, what the fuck is happening?
She has been running. Her legs must be tired.
Hussy sees her too. She sees Hussy and Trash Ass. She runs out. She's running down the stairwell, loses her shoe.
Loses one shoe.
Then she goes out in the streets of Seoul. She runs into the subway. And she's
loses
frantic.
Loses
another shoe. And then she's about to tip over. And guess who's there again? Sexy Poojanim is there, saving her for the third time.
For the third time in probably a span of 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's quick. It's not even 7. It's like 3 minutes. It's like, this is very, very fast.
Oh, yeah.
This is very quick. He saves her, grabs her shoes, brings her the shoes. She looks up in the building. And I love this. Mm-hmm. She's seeing 2023 Seoul buildings, right?
Yep.
But then slowly it transforms into 2013.
So literally buildings are being unbuilt.
I really like this transition.
I really like that.
Creative.
Because my mama at one point was like, why is this? I said, my mom's like, well, why is she acting like this if she's having a premonition? I said, she's not having a premonition. She went back in time.
She went back in time.
And so buildings get unbuilt. Signage changes.
You're seeing news from 2013.
Yes. So like this movie and this figure skater.
Kim Yuna, who's very famous. Queen Yuna, we call her. She's all the craze. She was all the craze. She's still all the craze. But she won the gold.
Me and my friend Lace have a joke, just an inside joke between us where we say, ugh, I could have been Michelle Kwan. Like if things would have went different in our lives, we could have been professional figure skater. And she's like, I could have been Michelle Kwan. Like we could have all been Michelle Kwan. But I can tell you whatever I think of. I don't know if it's just my generation, but when I think of like a professional figure skater, there was a black girl in France that did the 4 backflips and then they banned it because nobody else would do it. And then Michelle Kwan. The first, I don't know if it's just our generation, but it's like this name of famous figure skater. Michelle Kwan.
So she puts her shoes on and sexy Pujangnim takes her home. He is so polite. He puts her in a car and he's like, hey, do you have money? I don't think you have money.
Because they go in the car together.
Yeah, he takes her home. He like literally
But like he
takes her
gets
home.
out with the jacket. Can I tell you that just being able to have a man put his jacket on you, because sometimes when you're a girl that looks like me, and sometimes I remember like when I used to date the dummy, and he was like, I was spending the night. He was like, you want to wear my shirt? And I was like, to do what? What do you mean? He's like, you can wear my shirt to sleep. I was like, oh, honey, no, it's not. He's like, it's not. I said, This is because some man always wanted you to wear his shirt. And I'm like, bro, unless you got a tall tee in here, you wear a large at best. Bro, I ain't seen a large in years. So like, funny. What do you do? I could sleep on we already had sex. What are you doing? Like, my titties can be out. This is fine. But they're like, oh, I want you to wear my t-shirt. I'm like, dog, it's not I'll tie it around my head. I don't know.
I'll tie it around my waist.
What do you want?
I'll tie it around my shoulder.
Just tie it around my shoulder. I'll make a scarf, like a little head wrap. I don't know what to do with this shirt. I can put 2 boobs in it, but it won't be my arms. So I love the idea of her like wearing his jacket because it looks like a kid in her dad's suit. And he's like, do you have money? And he puts money in her pocket, like opens up the wallet, puts money in her pocket, and I was just like, marry me.
Marry him. Yeah.
Marry me. Because she's like, you have money? He's like, what? She's like, well, your purse and everything, your purse and your phone are at the office.
Yeah, she has nothing there.
She has nothing. And then she's like, what? And he's like, here. And then she goes inside and she's looking at all the expiration dates. Like, there's no way it's 2013. There's no way it's 2013.
Her eggs are 2013. Her milk is 2013. Everything is 2013.
And she's like, oh, well, if it's printed on a bottle, it must be true.
And then sexy Pujangnim comes back. He gets her groceries.
Because remember, he said you need to drink something warm. Yes. She had nothing. And so he gets her what I loved. I kind of hated it and I kind of loved it. Was that when he was like, hello, he just put the stuff on the railing and then he left. Part of him was like, oh, he's gone. I was like, and then part of me was like, oh, he's gone.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm just here to help. And here you go. She still had his jacket.
honestly, it should be not marry my husband. It should be marry your
boss.
Marry your boss. Marry your manager. Marry the manager. Marry
Not-
the 부장님.
Marry Pujangnim, because not my manager.
He is just, listen, he is Mr. Darcy. He is just,
Oh, what is the black equivalent to Mr. Darcy? Morris Chestnut?
maybe. Idris Elba.
Nah. Can I tell you how excited I was when I saw his wife was black?
Have you watched Hijack on Apple?
Isn't it just Passenger 57?
No, it is.
I don't have the Apple
That
TV.
was another one where I stayed up I stayed up to like 5 a.m. binging. It was literally, I think it came out around the same time as Marry My Husband and Hijack.
So basically, a plane got hijacked. Where's Halle Berry in all of this?
It is compelling TV. It's a British show.
Yes.
So Apple does a great job because a lot of their shows are actually British shows. So they hire British production companies.
Okay.
So they're actually like co-develop. Yeah. So
I am so happy about a man just showing care, being out of the way, because she starts taking things out of the bag. But I'm like, these groceries don't make sense. It's like a thing of tomatoes, the ramen,
some
bananas,
banana milk,
which
they
is
got ramen, a cup of ramen.
Girl, the way she ate that ramen,
So good.
you'd have thought she never. I mean, I know you just died
She literally died and came
earlier
back to
that
life.
day, but
And
the
traveled
way
10 years behind,
Also, I love the fact nobody eats more on TV than Korean shows.
I know. Sometimes I can't watch it at night because I'll just eat too because I get so hungry again. So what's interesting is she realizes that it's 2013 because of all of her groceries. Then we learn that she's like talking to herself. She's trying to figure it out, right? And she's like, okay, I must have gone back in time because no one knows that the manager is the heir to UNK.
That he's
right?
a chebble.
So we find that out in 2021. So she's piecing it all together, right? And then she pulls out the money, right, that the manager gave her, that the 부장님 gave her. And she notices that the $10 bill has a heart on it.
Because it's his money, and then it's the money that she got back
From her dad.
And it was crazy is because she shouldn't have.
I'm sorry, not her dad, the cab driver.
The cab driver.
The cabbie.
Because I was like, I just realized this. She shouldn't have that money.
No.
Because he gives her all blue notes. And then there's the dad's green note. And when I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute. She shouldn't have that money. And she notices that blue heart on it.
A blue heart.
And then we go to a flashback where he used to draw on the money. And she's like, you can't you can't draw on that. And then tell me about this. The audience said that the actors' accents were bad.
So they're supposed to be from the country, not the countryside, but she's supposed to have an accent. She doesn't have a Seoul accent because I forget what
She's from some country
area.
town.
It's not a country town, but it's just like a smaller town, right? So they have an accent, but a lot of the Korean netizens are really upset because they didn't do the accent properly. So that was one of the things.
Oh, you mean like a White Lotus, North Carolina accent situation?
Pepper, no. Pepper.
They're coming for her hard body.
Pepper, no.
So
Why do you want to live in Taiwan? It's so funny. Anyways, so she puts two and two together, right? She thinks about the flashback, and she's like, "Oh my god, that was my dad,
Papa.
It was Papa in the cab." And then you go back to the cab scene, and everything like melts away, and you realize it's her dad.
The dad's face changes.
And the music swells.
The ID in the cab.
Yes.
Now it's like not only is he dead, but he's also working. So he had to go get a driver's license in the afterlife.
He has a driver's license in the afterlife, and she starts sobbing. It's really sad. And she's like, "Oh my God, Daddy, it was you. You brought me back.
Why didn't you tell me it was you?" Because he did ask her, if you could go back, what would you do? And
then it's interrupted by the code, right? The door lock code. Beep, 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 beep.
That's why I always have like that's a slippery slope. Because once somebody gets that code, they in your shit.
Yeah. And it's Minhwan. It's trash ass. And he's like, "You okay? Let's get dinner." So they're at the 포장마차, right?
And that is a
Korean tent
Dive bar?
dining situation. They're everywhere in Korea.
Oh, I've watched enough dramas to go. I was like, I guess
It's
you
like
don't need
street food, Korean street food.
But I do like that there's always a seat. If you're drinking, you gotta eat. They're at this bar.
There's at the
Sumin texts her, checking in on her, and she wants to, she wants to come by. But Jiwon's like,
Jiwon's like, I'm with Minhwan right now. I'm fine. Like, stop texting. And we kind of learn from here that Sumin is very, very like
overbearing,
obsessive, controlling.
It's like she's also a bad partner. Like, this isn't like best friend. This is almost like you think they're both. You would think she was like in a polyamorous relationship,
right? And she needs to always be in control. That's why she needs to know exactly what Jiwon's doing, what she's up to. She needs to be there. She needs to understand exactly what she's doing. So we see this more and more. But back to trash ass. We find out. So Jiwon is about to drink, and the trash ass stops her. He's like, "You need to stop. Like, you thought you were pregnant." And then Jiwon remembers, oh, I had a pregnancy scare because my stomach was hurting. Something was off, right? But then she's like, oh, but I went to the doctor. And then we learned that it was gastritis. That's what she had. But I think this is the start of her getting these issues of the cancer, right? So she, that clicks for her. And then Minhwan's like telling her, trash ass, you need to get an abortion. I don't want to have this kid. And he basically says also, the only reason I let you act that way or I didn't react to your crazy behavior earlier is because I thought you're pregnant and you were having mood swings.
Okay.
And then this is the part that like drives me crazy. He literally goes, I need you to get an abortion. I'll pay for half of it.
And she goes,
half of it. Asshole. There are no words. And then she remembers how her fucking mother-in-law was berating her for not being able to have a child. And he is sitting here being like, I don't even want a kid. I don't want a family. You need to get an abortion. Fuck you.
That's, oh God. Because it's like she went through pure hell. And then he doesn't want a kid. But what he didn't do, but you're watching your mother berate. So it's like
he is a absolute trash bag.
Because she would have never known had she not gone back in time. She would have never known that he didn't want a kid in the first place.
And
he probably could. He could have went and got a vasectomy and didn't tell nobody. But he didn't because it was like, oh, you're pregnant, get rid of it.
And then she's like, we need to break up. We should break up. He follows her outside.
Grabs her.
It is violent. He is clearly abusive.
Slams her up against the wall.
She's screaming, she's crying. It's pretty, like, it was actually kind of hard to watch. I was like, because I think, like, I have not seen, because again, this is a rom-com, right?
Yes.
It was a little bit disturbing to see that because I was not expecting that.
No, you would never expect to see this level of like physical abuse in a show where it's just like, we're falling in love. And it's like, oh, you have to see how much hell she was going through
exactly
with this man. And then she remembers that he would always lose it when she said she wants to break up.
Yes.
So you have to remember there's so many women and, not even women. There's so many people who are with their partners because if they try to leave them.
They can't leave them.
They can't. They'll lose their lives.
They lose their lives. Exactly. And so
because that's when most victims of domestic violence die. Because people are like, well, why don't you just leave? Why don't you just leave?
They can't
It's
leave.
more dangerous. You're more likely to die when you try to leave.
Exactly. So this part of the drama or the story, I did like a lot. I mean, it was jarring, but I think it's true to the female like experience. Like, because there are a lot of women who go through this. So right off the bat, I'm like, okay, I can see where this drama is going. I kind of like it. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think we never see this, but also it's just like, I'm glad to see that there's women that go through this. There's all kind of people in relationships that go through this. But he threatens to kill her when he tries to break up with her.
Yeah.
Him. He said, who are you to say that you want to break up? And he tries to hit her. You just told me to get an abortion because you didn't want kids. Mm-hmm. You offered to pay for half of it, even though you were the one that got me 100% pregnant. And she falls to the ground crying and she's screaming for help. And I feel like this is, but you can see him get caught off guard. And it's probably the first time she's ever cried out.
Yeah, because I think she took it.
I think she had no choice.
She had no choice.
And she wasn't
the past 10 years.
But my question is, do you think Sumin knows that she was going? She has to, that she would have told her friend everything.
I don't know if Jiwon told Sumin all of it. We don't know.
What do you think Sumin would have done if she knew?
Well, I think Sumin discovers in the future episodes, right? I don't think Sumin knew any of this. Because I don't think Jiwon ever told her, because I think this was a source of shame for Jiwon.
Right, as it would be.
As it would be. So I don't think Sumin was aware of this. So I think in the future episodes, you see what Sumin experiences as well.
Right.
So basically, trash ass is like this to everyone. Like, this behavior is going to come out, you know. It doesn't matter if it's Sumin, it doesn't matter if it's Jiwon. Right. Whoever he's with, he's a bad apple, he's a bad person, and he's going to do this to anyone.
Because I do wonder if with Sumin being this controlling and this territorial over Jiwon, I wonder if she did know back then, would she have done or said anything to trash ass if she knew that he was being abusive? Because you're made to feel ashamed of it, because you're like, no one can know this is happening to you. None of that. I do wonder.
I think, though, both of these characters,
she might actually like it.
I think they're both both of them are true narcissists, I think. Right. So like Minhwan, like, you know how narcissists technically, like, they want to control you. And if you go out of line from what they want, they freak out. Right. So him reacting to her wanting to break up, that's like textbook narcissistic behavior. And if you also look at Sumin's character, right, and her behavior, it's the same thing. She needs to control, and she freaks out when things don't go her way.
I wonder what
so they're both like, they managed to like dig into this person, right? They have their claws in her,
who can
and
be
like
controlled.
Right. So it's interesting how this all like pans out, but they go. So she calls the cops, or I guess the people end up reporting it. So they're at the police station, but of course, so the cops are like, you can't come in for a lover's quarrel. Like, we can't help you. You're going to get over it. Like, you just need to go home. You need to stop bothering us.
We don't arrest the man because the woman will get upset.
Exactly. And she's just like, so I need to get hit in order for me to come here? Like, this is crazy. She was like, will you at least drive me home? Will you at least take me home? Right? She goes back home. And then she's trying to figure out her plan, because she only has $718 basically in her account, or 718,000 won,
right?
Which is the equivalent of like probably like $650. Yeah, she doesn't have a lot because trash ass has been taking her money. He has access to all of her accounts. He is opening credit cards in her name, taking loans out.
What's he need all this fucking money for?
He is insane. So he's spending all this money. And she's like, I can't survive with this amount of money, so I need to figure out a plan, right? So then she realizes, well, he calls, right? He calls her, he like texts her, and he's like, I'm sorry, but you made me do this.
Bro, let me tell you.
You made me act this way. It's your fault. And then she connects the dots, though, but she realizes, oh, this is around the time trash ass bought stocks
in
Roygental, this company, and he made a fortune. This is the first time, like the one success he's ever had in his life was buying these shares. So she's like, why don't I just start buying stocks? Like, I know which companies are going to be successful in the future.
I know the future.
This felt very Back to the Future.
Yes.
Back to the Future 2 when
Biff gets the book. Yes.
I was like, yes.
Well, I was just recently saw this episode of Big Bang Theory, which I loved that show.
It's fun.
And so they talk about like Biff going back and then buying the stocks. because he had like the
almanac. Book, the almanac of all the bets and stuff, or the winners of the sports thing,
yes, for all of these years. And so he's like, well, is he going back to his original timeline, or is there a new timeline? Yeah. And when you talk about this time travel stuff, it's like, it's because what I do love about this show is that she's never worried about changing the future.
No.
The goal is to change the future. It's like there's not worrying about like, it's like, okay, what if this happens and then this happens, because she starts buying stock and she's investing in companies that are thriving. So she starts with that. And she's like, all right, I'm living my life different. So she goes she does the medical testing. It's stress.
She gets,
And they're like, you didn't even need the CT scan, but she gets the CT scan and her doctor's like, it's gastritis and stress and not to worry. Mm-hmm. So this is when she starts shifting her face. So she goes to the bookstore to research stock. And she's in this crazy fake. It's like, you know how they have like now the little 3D models that you can build, and they have one that looks like a bookstore. It looked like fake.
So Korean bookstores are amazing.
I want to go
in Asia. Like we went to the really popular one by Coex in Coex Mall,
like
which is like
kind of bookstore.
It's the one that all the influencers go to and take pictures. It is stunning. And then we went to a really cool bookstore in Japan as well. Like I just feel like Asian bookstores, they just like, it's like their Barnes and Noble times 100. Ooh. I miss a good Barnes and Noble. I know there's one in the Grove, but like. I miss just having one, like a neighborhood one.
I miss having a good Barnes and Noble because, they do have the calico critters in the Barnes and Nobles.
What's a calico critter?
Oh, they're like these little, like, little figurines of different, like, animals, like kitty cats and hedgehogs and stuff like that. They're very, very cute. But
it's like a Labubu.
Yeah, but not scary.
Labubus are so ugly.
I
don't get it. My friend has a Labubu. Everyone's talking about the boobos.
You know what? I saw this thing on TikTok and the girl was like, the reason she loves Labubus is because of that book Where the Wild Things Are. And I hated that book.
You know what I'm going to do? My mom kept all my Thai Beanie Babies. I'm going to go bring one back and I'm going to put a little thing on it and I'm just going to put it on my bag and be like, listen, let's bring back the Thai Beanie Babies.
You got to see what those are worth now.
I know. I have the Princess Diana one. I have all of them still. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll get
sitting on a gold mine.
No, but I'm gonna literally go back and bring my Beanie Babies and put them on my purse and be like, y'all are crazy. This is literally like the Beanie Baby craze. I spend so much money on Beanie Babies.
Oh, girl, this is like a pet rock. She goes to the bookstore. Mr. Manager finds her, and she's got like her books about stocks, and he's like, "What are you quitting? What's going on?" And she sees the scar on his arm from the falling kettle.
Yes,
and he says. To pay me, she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And he's like, to pay me back, you can get me lunch. And I've seen in a bunch of dramas where a man is asking a woman to get him lunch. And I was like,
So he says he wants krukbap, right? Which is like the pork soup.
Yeah.
Which is very homey food. Like you can get a bowl easily at like a hole in the wall restaurant, right?
Yeah.
He takes her to a fancy one and she's just like, "Oh Lord."
I had no idea. Because my mother was like, "Well, what is this fancy?" I said, "Mama, it's like pork and rice."
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like just a regular place. And she's like,
yeah. And then she realizes, and this is the first time she's like really looking at him, because in the past, old Jiwon was scared of him, right? Because he's the 부장님, he's the manager. So she was always been kind of on edge. But now she's realizing, oh, like he's kind of cute. He takes his glasses off and she's like, oh, he's like handsome. And then the way he's acting, she calls him 도련님. So 도련님 is like an honorific form of like what you would call your husband's brother.
Okay.
Yeah, 도련님. So she's like, oh, and then that's an expression used to say like, it's literally translation is like young master. So she's basically saying, oh, I can tell like he's
a gentleman,
a jebel son, a
man about well, not a man about town.
No, he's not a man about town.
No, not a man about town. He is a gentleman, a man who keeps on an acquaintance with only the right kind of people.
Yes, he's an aristocrat. He is Mr. Dulcé.
He is an aristocrat. Yes,
aristocrat. So they're chatting
because he takes his glasses off because the soup is gone. Because remember when she was trying to eat her ramen?
Yeah,
it fogged up her glasses.
That. Yeah,
and so he takes the glasses off to eat the soup, and it's like, okay, hold on. And my mama goes, "Oh, Clark Kent, Superman."
Yes, he did look very Clark Kent.
It was very Clark Kent, Superman moment.
And then he tells her, he's like, just FYI, like, I think you're really talented. Like, you're really good at your job. So you shouldn't quit. Because she had a book. This part drove me crazy. I like laughed. But, she had a book. He was like, are you thinking about getting married? Because I see that you have a book about interior decorating. And I'm like, y'all.
Just because you have a book on interior design.
That's what I'm saying. It's so sexist. And I was like, oh my God, Korean people are insane. Like, but it's also insane.
Because if I see like someone with a book about interior design, I'm like, what are you painting your house?
Well, but in Korea, instead of painting your own house, it's, are you getting ready to get married so you can decorate your like home? Like, that's insane to me. Because you get what I'm saying? Like, single women aren't buying homes on their own.
In America, it's the first time in history where more single women own homes than men.
It's wild.
But she burns her tongue. He gives her water. He asks if she's going to leave, and she's talented. Like,
and then the scar, I think it's she notices the scar again. This is getting her to start really thinking about the mechanics of the time travel, because she's noticing, she was like, the scar looks exactly like the scar that I had right on my arm, but I don't have it anymore. So she's like, basically, she's like, things that are meant to happen are going to happen. So that's the one thing that she realizes in this moment. So fate doesn't matter. Like, fate hasn't disappeared. It's being redirected.
Also, she grabbed his arm to the point where he was like, ugh.
I know. And he freaked out.
And he also clearly likes her.
He is obviously like in love with her. But then when she goes home, and this is why I like his character, because I feel like he is giving her the confidence that she needs, because when he told her, hey, like, I think you're really talented. I don't think you should leave your job. She's like, you know what? He's right. I am good at my job. I was ambitious. I had to give those things up because of Minhwan, but I am. So I'm going to go back now, since I have the second chance. I'm going to do the things right again, right?
Because like sometimes you have to, when you're in these type of abusive relationships, you have to make yourself small. And even if it's not a romantic relationship, because you can be in an abusive friendship.
Yeah.
Which is also a thing. And I don't think we talk about that at all, because usually abusive friendships aren't physical.
Oh, I mean, this poor girl was getting abused.
It's left and right, because
by the
boyfriend, all
by
of that.
Her manager.
So she gets back to work.
Oh my God! And
she is avoiding, like, truly, like, hiding in stairwells.
She is running away from Minhwan. Sumin comes up to her and she wants nothing to do with her. She even tells her, she's like, ha ha ha, by the way, I was in a thread. I was like in a Reddit reading comments, and apparently there's this woman who like cheated with her best friend's husband. And Sumin's like, oh my God. She's like, that's awful.
Why would she do that? I would never do that to you.
Yeah. And you're just like, okay, shut the fuck up.
10 years from now you would, though.
And then there's another manager, right? So Jihyuk, right? Sexy manager's the 부장님. So he's general manager. There's the person under him who's the manager, 과장님. That is manager Kim. Okay. This man's awful. He is berating her. He's like, you're an idiot. How dare you?
Also, he has those sleeve things. Like,
I know, that was actually kind of interesting.
And I was like, this isn't manual labor. I feel
like they had that in like the newspaper, like, when the newspaper, because you get like ink on
stuff
your
on your shirt. Yeah. But it's like, it's always women and incompetent. Why is this woman here? And he's always yelling at her, and
he's incredibly disrespectful. Basically, he's saying, he's barely reading her reports, and he's like, you need to do this over again.
Every proposal. Yeah. It's like,
right. And then he tells her like, hey, you're a single woman. Why are you dressed like that?
She's obviously not single. Her boyfriend's right here.
Unmarried, right? So she's an agashi. So he's like, you shouldn't be dressed like this. Like, how do you expect men to work and like look at you? Like, you're supposed to be here to make me feel like you're supposed to be eye candy, and you're not. Why can't you be more like other women? And there's Sumin putting perfume. Did you notice this? She's like putting on perfume, and all the women in the office are just like absolutely disgusted by him, because he is so fucking sexist, so fucking rude. And this is the kind of stress that she's been going through. So no wonder she has gastritis, right? There's another manager, an assistant manager, who becomes Jiwon's friend, right? So we see her. And then, while this also, I don't think they really work in this office, because you barely see them. No one is working. So homegirl is over here. she's about to sell, or she's supposed to buy the Rogental stocks, right?
Yes.
But then Minhwan pings her in the group, the company chat system.
Can I tell you one of the things that I'm the most thankful for about not working in a real office is a fucking ping. So he pings her and says, "Let's go talk."
No, I don't.
No, this is when he said, "Let's go talk." So he pings her. Oh, about the stock.
No, he doesn't want to talk to her. He's telling her, he's like, "Hey, by the way, I'm selling my Roy Gentle stocks, but I'm going to buy a TKU stock." And TKU.
But he said he sold the stock to pay her back for something.
Exactly. Because he's like, "You're mad at me. I'm going to pay you back." Because he's basically like, he's trying to like coax her back, right? So he's like, I got you the money.
To the police.
Exactly. So he sold the Roy Gentle stock and he's going to pay her, but then he's going to invest in TKU stock, which is a stock that Jiwon remembers to be a pump and dump situation.
Is a crazy term.
Yeah, pump and dump. I mean, that's very.
The only time I've ever heard that is for breast milk. So like,
pump and dump can mean a lot of things.
Well, it can. That's truly
you don't want to pump and dump.
Truly the definition of a one night stand.
Pump and dump.
But it's like, say, like if you were drinking and you're breastfeeding, you would pump and throw that milk out because you don't want to make your baby drunk. So she has this flashback or flash forward, or a flash. I don't know which direction we're going.
Yeah, it's a flash forward.
Flash forward where she's like, "Oh, people were pissed. It was a pump and dump. They got all this money and they ran off. And like the owner went overseas and people were just like tearing up the building."
Yes.
And so I think it's interesting that he just didn't. Why did he buy this other stock?
So, right. So this is where, again, the mechanics of the time travel and what's happening. She understands, okay, so fate can't be reversed, right? So whatever she does or she doesn't do, it happens to someone else. So because she bought the Rogental stock, that is forcing him to do something else. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is how it's like,
because originally he had the Rogental and that was the job that was the stock that made him quit his job, become a day trader.
Right. So she realized that whatever's supposed to happen to her, if she avoids it, it's going to happen to someone else.
Okay.
So this is how it's working. So she understands it more, right? So this is the moment where she's like, okay, so if I can't escape my fate, so we know that whatever is going to happen is going to happen. But if I can swap it, that means I can give my fate to someone else. So I'm going to make Sumin marry Minhwan.
Also, whenever you hear the title of a show in a show, it's always like, man.
남편하고 결혼해줘. I know, it was very cheesy.
It's very cheesy. I'm going to make her marry my husband.
Yeah, and then she goes to Sumin and she's like,
can you take my trash out?
And Sumin's like, what? What are you talking about? And she's like, you're my other half. Will you take my trash out? And Sumin's like, sure, I'll take your trash out, but you have to go with me this weekend. You have to hang out with me this weekend.
You have to go get barbecue.
That little bitch, has a little plan on her own, right?
Ah, you hussy.
She is. So then that's how it ends. Holy crap.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh God, that song is by a singer named Lynn. I love her so much. Yeah, it's such a good song.
It reminded me of a video game.
It
sounded like Final Fantasy music.
I love it.
So this is like the thoughts on this. One, so many things to happen. This was so much faster of Queen of Tears. And I wonder if because it came from a webtoon.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a script, you're like going, it's boom, 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 boom. You're going to the next thing faster than Queen of Tears.
It's really fast.
Yes.
Because this is a web series or a webtoon, you would think it'd be a little bit more, it'd be less grounded. But to me, it's, yes, there's fantastical moments, but I really do think that the themes they're talking about are a lot more grounded than what the themes were in Queen of Tears.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because it's like fate versus free will, betrayal and trust, misogyny and female labor. And what's crazy to have them at such an intersection
Yeah.
was it's just like, you need to be cleaning up, you need to be doing this, you need to be having babies, but also you need to be working even when you're sick because you have to be.
Yes.
Because you're a worker.
And I think that this is a lot more realistic to probably what Korean society is truly going through, right? It is like for instance, the mother-in-law trope. Mother-in-laws are really truly awful to their daughter-in-laws. It's like a whole thing. It's been a trope for years.
But my thing is, it's when you look at that means that when she married into the family, her mother-in-law treated her like that.
Yes. So it's a cycle.
Right. And so I sometimes think about when it comes to acting, and even
honestly think it's generational trauma. Basically, it's you treated me like this, I'm going to treat her like this. Yeah.
Right.
I just feel like a lot of the themes in this drama are just truly more relevant. It's relevant to women now, I feel, compared to LOL Queen of Tears.
No one can relate to Hayen's life. No one. I don't know a single person who can relate to Hayen's life. This is
relatable.
Very relatable.
It's so relatable.
And the idea of rebirth and second chances and karma, because we have all the K-drama tropes, the terminal illness, the evil mother-in-law, the mama's boy husband,
the sexism to me, the workplace. Again, the bullying stuff is very, very relevant to Korean society, right? Because so those themes are super it's just relevant. There's time travel.
The Cinderella trope, losing the shoe on the subway, literally. Because he just shows up with the other shoe. The shoe is all the way in the office. So and then the hero saves the heroine in slow motion.
Yeah.
Because she falls down, because he grabs her the first time. She falls down in the office. He catches her.
Yeah.
Knocks the kettle out of the way. And then she goes to fall down the stairs and he catches her. And then the setup of, can you throw out my trash? I'm going to get you to marry my husband. And so that's why it's so perfect to call him trash ass. La basura.
Truly trash ass.
Señor Basura.
So crazy.
It's perfect because she, even though she travels back in time, it still feels realistic.
Yeah, it is.
Because I think so many of us have been like, if I was able to do this.
I know.
There's so many things that I would do different.
Yeah. And I think this is why everyone felt such intense emotion for the first episode. The fact that your mom was like, oh, I'm in. Everyone in. Because how can you not?
I'm talking about first 10 minutes. She's like, what happened?
And just the tropes that we just checked off right now, we read off. That's literally imagine. That's the addicting. That's why it makes us all so addicted to Korean content. They put all of that, 10 things or whatever, how many stuff, all at once in this one episode. Girl. It's crazy. Okay, so
we're back next Wednesday to chase the second episode of Marry My Husband. And if you thought this was a roller coaster, so many things happen. But I also like the fact that it's so many things happens, but it's not an hour and a half.
It's not. These episodes are literally 60 to 70 minutes. Great. Honestly, rewatching it and working on the outlines, I was like, this is great.
This is great.
Because Queen of Tears would take me literally 3 hours sometimes.
Of course it would.
Because I was sitting there and I would have to stop, take the note, and I'm just like, oh my God.
I feel like even though so much stuff happens, there's less talking than there was in Queen of Tears.
Queen of Tears is very indulgent.
Yes, it's it was very dialogue heavy. But we're going to be back next Wednesday to chase the second episode of Marry My Husband. But I want to ask y'all, what do y'all think of the vlog?
Our Sarangees.
Our Sarangees. Are you excited to be a Sarangee? What merch do y'all want? I want to know if y'all want makeup bags, you want backpacks, you got to find some mini Jinro frogs, a lock of Park Seo-joon's hair. Just tell me what y'all need. I want to know what y'all want to do. Submit your questions and thoughts or rants or whatever at chasingkdramas@gmail.com. I think we should start doing mailbag episodes because the messages that we've been getting from y'all have been so sweet and so great. Y'all have been giving us a lot of input, a lot of encouragement. Because listen, this is a 1.5 man band. I am the half. She is the one. No, actually 2.5 man. Because Mr. Thomas is doing the work. She's doing the work. I come in here and say goofy shit. and eat her snacks. So show us some love. Subscribe, review, rate, and follow us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you're tuning in. And be sure to follow us on Chasing K-Dramas on Instagram and TikTok. Right now, we have around 8,000 followers.
Yes.
Something happens on TikTok when you get to 10,000. I don't know what it is.
We get to start monetizing if we're 10,000 on TikTok.
I'm going to tell you how hard it is to monetize on TikTok later.
I know, you told me.
Because it's fucking ridiculous. I don't have the blood of anybody to send TikTok. And I'm like, is there an office in America to send it to? Do I have to ship this blood internationally? I don't know. DHL. Anyway, so tell us your favorite drama. Tell your favorite drama addicts about us. Mm-hmm. Let them know that we are out here talking about a new show. Thank you so much for listening and watching. And we will see you on the next Drama Chase.
사랑해.